and welcome to the harmonization of the energy center. And today we are entering, somehow the word entering, when it comes, it's like entering of the third eye. So I did ponder myself as, what do we talk about third eye? Right? Because when we going from the throat and above, this is the higher chakras. And obviously, like with the higher chakras, is more to this spirituality, more higher sense perception, and also more, as people said, the more like spirituality. And I'm just gonna open up and see that what's coming through. And we all know that if you study chakras, then we know that the third eye is intuitive, right? Open as intuition and more to seeing, right? If you're the seer, then you can see like a lot of things. And some people may not be, the seer is less than more feeling. And the third eye is emotional, more emotional feeling of spirituality. So that is individual. When I said that, there's no, for me, is eyes can see. Most of the time, yes, it's an eye in front of us and we see, right? But when we see, is using the brain and also that our body feeling is all interconnected together. So I'm not going to say that this is for the eye, it's not for feeling, which is not true, because we are not separated. Our body is not separated. So I know that when I was sharing, Carl was coming into first one, and I asked him about this third eye, and he just the word third eye, and everybody, that he is very open, and that is the gift, part of the gift. And he was so activated and then starting to go into emotion. It just can be high, it can be low. So instead of I'm talking, and I think that I just invite him to really come in and share that part of him. And also that how, I guess that there's a lot of question that, how do you intuitive and all of that internal, like creativities. And just all of that, just asking more questions that if you want to know a little bit more. But I will jumping in for mine later on, but I did it because he is already on it. It's just in Punto. So let's welcome Mr. Kalti.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I love connecting with you all. Heart to heart. Yeah. Um, yeah, even the words when Lillian mentioned the third eye. I mean, I was receiving even before, like an hour before connecting, and it was just so activating. So, um, there's been like a lot of like for me, as in connecting everything, a lot of like animals around me and like in spirit. And then in my dream the last couple nights, and I'm like, okay, the animals are like calling me in, and it's just hearing like the spirit, like tribal music, ancestor music, especially around Africa. And I'm like, okay, okay, and just things were kind of landing, and um, so I'm very like music based, so it's like the base of my inspiration too. And then I first I feel, and then I see right after. And then it's like all my senses follow. And I think at work too, we've had this new blend that I've been putting on, and that's been very healing. And it just helps open up my senses more and more and more. And I'm like, okay, now it's all making sense. So it's kind of like a recap. So Um, for my previous adventure, um, like a week ago when I went to Toronto, it was like so opening. Like I just had this resonance within me, this deep resonance that I'm like, I have to go. Like I have to go to Toronto. And it's just like this knowing. And I just like let it go. I let it land and I let it go. And then I surrendered and released. And then I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. And then I was like, I find when I'm settled, grounded, even more, and in my peace and calmness and having me time, I'm able to receive a lot more too. That it flows. It's not like intentionally connecting. I mean, I'm not, no, I'm always connected, but just like not intentionally like journey, right? So then I'm like, okay, I'm getting all these visions and visuals, and I'm like, okay, I know this feeling. I was just like, okay, just following it. It's landing, it's becoming a physical part of my reality, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm just retrieving soul fractals, soul fragments of myself when I was a child. And I'm like, okay, and then all the beautiful memories and moments with my mom and my family in Toronto and just everything, right? So I'm like, okay, okay. And then getting closer, I was just like, oh, this feeling, it feels so freeing, but it feels like my masculine part, like I'm reclaiming my little, like father to myself, to my little inner child. And through all the ages, and I'm like, okay, this is like amazing. This is huge. This is big. This is like an adventure. So I mean, I was like on cloud nine even before my journey. And then, well, and I was in Toronto, and then I'm like, okay, meeting like so many cool people, and my creativity was just like energetically around me because I didn't have like all my tools that I didn't bring, right? So I was just like energetically creating, and I'm like, okay, and then I'm like, okay, why is there lines like more prominent around me? And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna like really tune into it deeply. I'm just gonna allow it to do what it needs to do organically. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, well, August, it's like I really connect to lions more that month. But it usually happened at the beginning of the month, like last year, especially with my cat, Onyx, and now it was happening at the end of the month, so everything was coming full circle. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden things with the Lion King has been popping up just like out of the blue. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, I'm just gonna just flow with this. And it's been building up. And then tonight I was just like, whoa. So when I was how old was I? 10, we went to Florida and um we went to Disney World, and at our um hotel there was a sketch artist, and I remember I was sitting in the seat and we were just talking and saying like how much I love art and creativity, and I'm like, what inspires you like to create? I remember asking him that question, and he says, I just allow it to like flow to me and just kind of transfer that to paper. And he's like, would you like a sketch done? And I'm like, I would love a sketch done. So, and he's like, what animal do you like? And I'm like, well, I'm like, right now I'm like, I really focusing on lions. And he's like, okay. So he was just like drawing, and I'm like, oh, just so excited of what it's gonna look like. And so then he gave it to me after, and I was like emotional. I was just like, oh my God, it's me. Like he had a lion and me as like taking care of the lion. And I was just like, oh my God, like this is amazing. And I kept it. That was like 1999. And I still have the artwork. And so then I always connect the Lion King with my father. It's kind of the similar story of like Simba and how like his father passed, and how he had to gain like the teachings, the lessons, the rite of passage. Like from his father in spirit in the cloud guiding him, right? So I was just like, oh my God. And then, uh, and then all of a sudden I got like a sponsored ad tonight with the Lion King musical, like on Broadway. And I mean, that show was first launched in, I think, 1997 on Broadway. And then my mom got the opportunity to see it with my grandmother and my uncle. And I'm like, I really wanted to see it then, right? And so the sponsored ad came up saying that the Lion King is going to be relaunched in Toronto in November. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I was just like, and then it was like all this emotion. And I'm like, I saw like the script of from the movie at the bookstore yesterday, and I'm like, oh my God. And I was just like holding the book, and I could just like feel like father energy around me. And I was just like, I just felt like I just need to hold this book. And then I saw some people that I knew, like regular shoppers at the mall, and I just walked around the mall. Then I put the book down, and then I could feel that like it's like the father connection, masculine connection, and then just like letting go. Like I could feel that, like the resonance, and then I'm like, okay, just letting it go. And I was listening to the Broadway soundtrack um before I went into like the bookstore. And it was like very like cultural, tribal, ancestor, soulful music, like in their language, and I love that. And I was just like, whoa, I could feel the ancestors around me. And then there's like this wild grass at work, and I'm like, I always need to sit by it. And I'm like, and then I was kind of linking everything, and I'm like, okay, it's like kind of like the grassland. And then when I went on the walk on Monday, it was like there was a part was like grassland. It was like dry grass and like tall grass. And I was just like, okay, I could just still feel that line energy. But I wasn't intentionally tuning into it, right? I was just allowing it to organically flow. Because I mean, before I would journey all the time, right? And now it's like more of a physical journey. So I was like, okay. And then I pulled out the drawing tonight that the artist did, and it was like emotion. And then I was going through all my artwork, and I'm like, oh my God, I did another Lion King artwork a couple of years, like 4 years ago, and I pulled that out. And I'm just like, oh, this energy. And then I'm like, and then it was like a huge opening of like my father's. It was just like the sky. And I'm like, and then it's like the Aurora Borealis, it's like connecting, right? And I'm like, oh my God, oh my goodness, this is like amazing and beautiful. Then I was just like bawling. I was just like, I just need a moment. But it's like today I was like, I was in the washroom, and in the washroom they have like a um section with like a little, like in the handicap washroom. I usually go in there just to have my own space, just before I get ready for work, just to breathe and just to kind of, I mean, the janitors let me in there, and I kind of get like VIP service. So they have like a little toilet in there for like little kids too. So like the father can be in there, and then the little kid can be in there, so they each have their own separate toilet in like one section. And the toilet kept going off. The little kid toilet kept going, like just out of the blue. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like just like my inner child is just like there, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And then I was like feeling into my father's, and then like myself, like fathering myself. And then I'm being like, with no expectation, like maybe like in the future if I were to become a father, and I'm like, what would that feel like? Like, and I was just like, then I just looked at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, oh my God, I got emotional. And I was just like, just seeing like all that's possible, right? Without expectation. And I'm like, I deserve a, or not, I don't want to use that word deserve, but it's just like, um, just having a little one, like being creative, right? And I'm just like, how beautiful that is, right? And I was just like, oh my God, it's so tender. And then, and then I'm like, with the blend at work, it has lion's mane, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like the lion's mane mushroom, but it's like, in general, it's like the lion's mane too, symbolically, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is huge. So I'm just like, okay, okay, I'm like, I receive, and just letting it all land. So when Lillian said about the third eye, I was like, okay, like this is just like all meant to be, and I think it's just opening just so naturally. Whereas before, I think I would journey out of kind of detaching from my reality or stress or anything that's kind of been heavy on my heart or mind. But now it's just like a part of me, and it's a very grounded journey, and I love it because I don't feel like it's I'm leaving my body to journey. It's like within me. And it's like I think all the practices that we do, um, like the sacred practices that we do within the GOTC when we journey and coming back to like the solar plexuses and all of that, is like everything is in the heart. Everything is like finally landing and integrating with me, like within me, and I'm like, oh, I get it now. I get it now. And my processing at work with like all the coaching and the information and the guidance and the support is like all landing now, like permanently. And I'm like, okay, I understand now. I understand now. Everything's coming back online. So it feels like I'm living a whole new reality in the like physical body. And I'm like, it's the most incredible feeling. And yeah, I think that's just kind of like my experience so far of like how beautiful it is when we're like in the present moment and grounded and connected. And when they say like how they say when two or more come together, like it's like that's where the magic happens. And I mean that's what we do in GOTC. Like it's just when we come together, it's just like oh my goodness, aha moments in expansion and learning, growing, and relearning and rediscovering and reconnecting and retrieving our soul fractals, soul fragments, and it's so beautiful. And it's just like, oh goodness, now I get it. Now I just understand it, right? So I think it's just so enriching to my soul, my spirit, my body, my energy, like all throughout. And I'm like, this is like living now. So it's just like, okay, but it's like no expectation at all. But it's just this inner knowing of like, I know I'm like in it, of it, like one with it, like with love and joy and happiness and celebration and creating. And it's like the consciousness, like the extension of the consciousness of like creation, right? Just knowing that we all are that, but it's just like knowing that, okay, we serve of that masterpiece, that one with the heart of like creation with us as us, like we are that living creation. So it's like when we're able to have that sacred space to reflect back to each other, especially within this container, Sacred Heart Valley and the OTC is amazing. Like it's phenomenal. So I just thank you all for receiving me um, from day one. And I think it's just finally understanding it now. Like, okay, like you're home, Kyle. Like you're safe to be you. Like love and like a healthy masculine. And I mean, every day we're evolving and shifting and growing and learning and shedding our old selves and retrieving ourselves. So it's just like beautiful that there's like no judgments, no um it's just all positivity and kindness and togetherness and helping one another. It's so beautiful. So I think it's just all the work that we do within the GOTC and Sacred Heart Valley, it does ripple out and I'm finally experiencing that in my everyday life and it touches my heart. I get emotional throughout the day and I'm like, wow, like I'm very grateful, thankful and blessed and lucky to be here in this physical experience with you all and with you all in spirit when I'm at work and doing my day-to-day things. It's just we're all still connected. So yeah, I just so much gratitude. I love you all so much. Thank you, thank you. you, Lillian, Victoria, Siri, Cram, Jen, Catherine, Rosa, Neha, um, Artie. Um, I'm trying to go through everyone. Um, Caroline, uh, Jen. Oh, who did I miss? And everyone else. And everyone else who's yet to be in GOCC and take our vote. It's like welcome, 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 and thank you, all of you in advance. But as like a masculine, a man, or like an awakening man, like it's the best medicine that I've ever received. And it's like there's no searching anymore because it's like here. So it's just that constant reminder that it's just like, yes, God, it's here, it's happening. You're a part of it, one with it. So it's just so beautiful. Yeah, heart's like so joyful. Thank you, thank you. I'll just pass the mic to Lily.
That's so long sharing, but it's always about all good that can relate to all the journey is like a puzzle, right? Patching up as it's like journey. So I wanted to share a little bit about this third eye as well as in the many ways. So there's no like it's not like pocket of this knowledge that I just share and see that what you receive and all of that. So as a woman, as a woman body, our third eye is the positive energy. And is that's why people say that, women is always intuitive, like more intuitive than men, and just sort of like normal people understanding, right? So from my understanding is when a man and a woman together facing each other's, right? They will have this like just feeling into, just in front of you, right? You have these men and women together, all the chakras, like all the chakras touching each other, like third eye and third eye together, heart and heart together, solar and solar together, and then sacral together, the root together, and it just aligned, right? In alignment. So today we focus on third eye. So when the woman had positive intuition of third eye, when meet opposite sex, then when they touch together, essentially will is the woman gift, like gift, gift, woman gift, man, a gift. This is a gift. That's the woman gift the man of this powerful intuition. And I'm not saying that men doesn't have it. Men definitely get it, have it, but it's just like this is the gift for me, for women to the man. The man's intuition will flowering and will be have this capacity even more of this to receiving of opposite energies. Like we're talking about feminine energy and the masculine energy, right? So, but this is the body energy, like our physical body energy, intended the real person energy, and probably can be energetic as well. So that is what my understanding of the third eye. So I have to be honest that I have not explored a very deep of the third eye. Like people said that, when third eye can let you wear and then you can see, and then how is that internal formula way? Or, like Egyptian, the eye or the eye of Horus. I have not. I do not have that experience. So I cannot talk about that. And I don't feel like talk about that now. So that was just what I understand is just little pocket of understanding. So that is what I understand in terms of the man physical body and the female physical body, which is we all can relate. And also one thing that all of us are the mother here. The mother's pineal gland, which is third eye, is not only third eye, right? If you dissect, encyclopedia, not dissect. Now look at the brain. The third eye here going into this pineal gland and going into this pituitary gland, and in the middle is connected to hypothalamus. Is just like it's just a brain. Part of the brain is called hypothalamus. A woman hypothalamus is huge. So in the pineal gland, it's actually, this is my own experience and my body feeling it. It's not about the knowledge. It literally maybe cannot find anything. You may not find anything on Google. I tried that last time. So it was connecting, pineal gland is connecting to the mother's womb. And that is also why that when the baby is crying, we could feel so connected that literally understand what the baby needs. And it's not, oh, you're crying, or maybe cold, maybe hungry, all of these. But when you high intuition, like you, all the mother have that feeling, understand immediately of what the child needs. Even though that, the child is like big already, and you will actually feel that we all children, right? I know what you're thinking. Don't block me. So we all have that. We all heard that from our parents. And I also said that to my kids. Don't bluff me. I know what you're up to. You just know, right? And the kids said, how do you know? Because you're my child, right? So that is the intuition of the inner knowing, but it's more to the intuitive. But when you connect, it's the third eye, the pineal gland is standing down of these, maybe of this like vagus is the longest, or the feeling. And then when you have babies, is the ovulation, the babies is in there, and it's connected of these three placenta. The communication, let's say communication channel is that, the whole channel is weaving into this communication in the water. So I felt into this pineal gland is connected to the sacral. So that was part of my research that I could share. And it was actually when I maybe invite you. Let's see what's happening. I'll invite you to close your eyes, right? So close your eyes and then focus of the energies inwardly, but is at the third eye chakra. But this energy of third eyesight, this energy, like this kind of like boiling energies, is not outside on the surface, but is looking inwards. So you feel into this energy of third eye is inwards, because a lot of the time that we have this third eye chakra, we look outside, but I invite you to look inwards. So receiving this blue light, and you just see, I don't need to say anything, and this blue light is in your body, and see where is these energies or the light or the ray or the wave, whatever you call it, chakra wave, let's say, because it's all about chakras today, that wanted to land where, which part of your body, and bring into your sensation as well, invite that in you. So we're not wandering outside, we're wandering inside our inner universe and see that what is this light doing to our body. And yeah, then you can open up your eye now and then you can share. It is safe because it's in your body. Hmm. Does anyone want to share? How you want to share? How's it feeling?
Yeah, I could feel within my body. I can feel and see for me because like I always am like connected to like symbolically. There's always a feeling and then an image. So I saw like two bees within me, like in my body, and I'm like, oh, I could feel that buzzing in the bee, and then I could feel my in my body, like in my um like chest area. It was like pavement, and it was like wet pavement, like after it rained, and then I could smell the rain, and then I could see like a bike, like the tire of the bike, and could smell the tire of the bike, and then all of a sudden I could see this waterfall, um, like falls, like, and I was just like, my heart space was just like, it was like feeling that cooling rushing of the water. I was about to go over the falls, and then you called us back. I was just like, oh boy, this is intense. But it's just like focusing all within my body, and I'm just like, whoa. I think it's just connected to it's like symbolically, it's like the emotion and like creativity, like what I was expressing in like my little story, and then it's just like journey. So it's just so cool how that kind of is like interlinked within my body.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like a whole sensory experience. So cool.
Mhm. So because our third eye is like it's a light, right? A beaming. So when we instead of beaming outside, you can invite to bring being inside and see what's happening there. It's sort of like discovery, explore yourself and discovery. So I know that when I did that intuitively, like last time, I can see that this blue light landed in my coccyx area and then it just charged and then my whole back of my spinal like being charges up to my back of the spine and it charged back on my third eye and just continues of this loop and it become very intense and so you sort of like have to rest for a bit and then when we rest because when we do not know the feeling like I did not know that feeling right and of course we will inject our own energy because we want to know more so when we want to know when you know the energy when you where the focus is your energy will go right energetically or energy you will go so in the body as well when you want to go anywhere consciously inside your inner body your energy will land. So whether you are wanting to know, when you're wanting to know, you direct that energy. But if you are receptive way, the energy, you just follow the energy. So like, come and follow me. It's like you will follow that energy. This is where you go, oh, this is like explore. So it's two way you can experience that. But most of the time when I experience things, I'm following this energy as my body tell me where to go. Like it's sort of it's just literally showing you. So yeah, and then you get to understand and analyze yourself, and that is really beautiful. And then you will connect the dot. So where the energy goes. Sorry, I need a glass. Goes the wind clearing emotion, throwing energy and activating in the knowing through the present in the now. Yeah, very true. Thank you, Victoria, for beaming that. And very true. So that is part of emotion clearing as well. So part of that. So this is like individual experience because we all have, no one have the same experience, but it is open to share that it's just, oh, wow, I can try this. And then, it's just like stuff coming up and clearing that the third eye. And I remember that when I started to, like 2 years ago, I heard about this. I also wanted to ask you guys. People said that you need to clear your third eye so that you see more and you see more and more spirituality or more spiritual. So you said that the third eye like got, now how do we got descaling? Like when you like lots of dust layers on the top, like you become crusty or something, and then you need to discard. I mean, this is what I'm visualizing it when people say it when I wasn't connected to any of this spirituality before. So I was like, hmm. And that conversation come back today as when I was asking, what am I going to share? So I wanted to ask you guys that whether you guys feel into this, the third eye being blocked or need descaling. Do you actually feel that? How is that feeling to you? And how do you harmonize that, especially when you feel it?
Let me share about that a little bit. Can you
Mm.
hear me well?
Yeah, sure. Go on.
Yeah. So many years back, before GOTC, I was attending some sort of like, okay, workshop for activating this, workshop for activating that, gifts, abilities, intuitive, third eye, whatever. And I felt that my third eye was pretty much activated. So I could sense, I could see, I could experience, and I could trust. And then at some point, one person who I call Dark Healer came into my life, who started gaslighting my experience at that moment. And like long story short, in the long run, so what he did was he installed a lot of machines in my body for me to work with him. And then when right after that, I met Jen, and Jen helped to deactivate that because I didn't know. But what I was experiencing back then is I had all this like activation, which probably was the false activation, and I didn't know about that. But the person started, well, person being started gaslighting that experience, saying everything that you see is full of entities. You'd better focus on the throat so that you can share your true heart. And although that whole experience with that guy was very like dark and negative, there is a sense of like truth in that, because if people do all sorts of activations and have no idea how to work with that energy, they like just like what people do when they use substances, they open up the portal and everyone enters, whoever wants. And our energy is so juicy and tasty, beings want our energy, and we just have to be very aware that you don't have to be scared, but yet you have to be very clear on what you are contributing to in this world. What you see, you see. What you experience. What you notice. And it's not like you always see. I mean, it's coming and going. It's a little bit like floating. And even when we're in GOTC, it's like, okay, today it's strong, tomorrow it's less. And then you kind of like can be, oh, I'm disconnected, but actually not. It's just floating. It's the part of the journey. It's not like linear. And we learn how to clear, how to witness when somebody is, some intruders are there, or somebody is trying to siphon their energy or something. But again, for example, now I'm in a new place, right? So people built it in their own reverse process of understanding. What I have to do, I have to harmonize. But I see a lot of things, and I am kind of like a newcomer into the space, right? So I can't like just command, okay, everyone leaves. No, I need to harmonize, and I need to learn how to witness and to honor my experience. Although, I see and I know I see. So it's like I ask all this question. Okay, what are you? I'm a floating. What I say today, I just received this. I'm a wandering spirit. Like before, I saw many like hungry ghosts and all this like spirit. But who is a wandering spirit? Well, I wander around to see, like to experience. And then we just realize like we are also a part of that, like lower selves, higher selves, wounded selves, true selves. There's so many things to experience and to learn that we have to honor. And when we speak about like all this like dust and clearing, it's like clearing off of the illusion, clearing off a spiritual ego, clearing off this like sense of self, like, oh, I'm so amazing, much better than you. So it's like not. But at the same time, honoring yourself, honoring your experience, honoring what you have been through, and honoring where you're going because you have this sense of direction coming from within. So it's like a multi-layered cake as usual. Thank you for giving me this chance to speak.
Thank you, Victoria. So juicy. I love that how your experience of that, and I can relate to that, some of that. I remember that when I started to have awakening, well, prior awakening, I can't see anything, like nothing. Like literally, there's no, like literally nothing, just normal people, right? Where's the jelly? Can you go and get? Let me open it. So, okay, just 1 minute, okay? What happened to your eye? All right, give me 1 minute, and maybe Siri Prem, do you wanted to share a little bit? I'm just sort of like, I'm just need to step away for a while. Very quick.
Okay. Yeah, today I was thinking I'm just listening to you guys because I felt my energy was not right for this. So for me, the intuition is when I have got this inner guidance, when I have got this knowing, when there is a decision and I'm clear or relatively clear, then I can see what is a yes and what is a no. Whereas otherwise, it's like you're in the foggy area. And so it's very important for me to connect to my third eye every day and to do some to bring the energy into flow and to kind of harmonize, because I think nothing is worse than just not being able to make a discernment, what is a good thing and what is not, so you don't go into the wrong direction. Yeah. And I'm not perfect, often I fail, yeah. And still I try. My Carl, when you shared your childhood memories, my first connection to the third eye was watching an old movie like from the 30s or max 50s, and it was about playing in some exotic place. Probably it should have been in India or so, but it was, I think, American production or so. And then there was a big treasure, was the eye, the third eye, which is in a big statue, like goddess statue. And then they tried to be in the temple, and they tried to get this third eye. And then afterward, the whole temple, the whole broke down. And that was pretty like scary for me. And I was thought, oh, this is interesting. They've got a third eye. And but you see, this is what it shows. When you're without your third eye, it kind of breaks down on you, You just have to focus outside for guidance, and that doesn't really work well, usually. Yeah, because it causes too much dependence. Yeah. And I love these meditations where we focus at the third eye point with our closed eyes, because by that I remember, oh yeah, there is a third eye. So I do something about it. Yeah. So yeah, good that you're back, Lillian.
Well, I didn't hear all of that. Do you want to repeat?
Can I mention something?
Sorry?
Can I mention something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, Prem, when you were speaking about your first encounter, I just instantly remember about mine. And my first encounters were like when I was a child, I was born with this ability to see the astral plane, and I was constantly attacked by all these like Lucifer entities from there. And my mom, like I was having what they thought was nightmares, but it was not really nightmares. I just could see, and I was constantly seeing all sorts of like wolves, this kind of animals, like with horns and things. And my mom was like taking me to the zoo, showing me like, what are you scared of? Look at them. They're so pathetic. They're not scary at all. But that gave them really hard time, and I had no idea or understanding what that is about until so much later. And I feel that it's beautiful that we have a chance to give a different understanding to our children, and also to appreciate the experience. Like, for example, you, Lilian, have like true belief into what Paige's experience, seeing or feeling. And it's like given this opportunity to them, to communicate, because children have a chance to communicate. They have a chance to do all sorts of premonitions and senses, and it's so magnificent. And we have to learn about that, like all of us. And children have this like beautiful way of communicating. So yeah, thank you for reminding about that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I will do the replay and just listen to what Sarah Clem is sharing. Thank you so much for sharing, Sarah Clem. Yeah, so I think that I was sharing about I wanted to share about my experience. So just a quick one. Yeah, so it's after the awakening, and I think that after awakening, then my third eye opened because it was sealed. It was sealed. So now can three, it was actually been sealed. Interesting. So after awakening, sort of like knowing and seeing, that's right. I was seeing in the meditation because I just couldn't see. So I was seeing in the meditation and have these like out of body experiences, and that bring me back literally, yeah, open the third eye, and since then haven't been really like, have been a very beautiful journey of that. So experience of third eye being sealed. So lately in my disconnection week, I also experience of these, how do I say? I feel like it's the correct way of saying it is I cannot see and I cannot feel. So that was last week. And I was sitting like facing Jen. This is a session that I did not know that this will come through. So I was sitting with Jen. I was facing her for like a few minutes, quiet. Oh, no journey. I can't see what's happening, and I couldn't even feel into my body or anything. It's literally nothing, so quiet. And I felt so agitated, and I become angry in a very subtle way. But I was like, you know what, Jen? Maybe we just finish the session. I said, finish what? You can't see, you can't feel, finish what? And then just like being pinched down, but Jen said, do see again what's happening to you. So things that happening to me is sort of like going into my organic light and manipulate. it can, and then I literally, like, I was normal, as you can see, but at that moment, nothing. I was like, why? Like, you know, along the week, like I can still doing my normal stuff. Everything is normal. But when actually at that moment, I literally been like literally I hear disconnect. I disconnect myself. I didn't know why. So that come into these things can come along in your energetic, even though that is organic, that can go into your organic consciousness, and that can also sit in there or grow a parasite there too. So that I was like, wow. I was like, how do I do this then? Right? And it's not also because of like your thought I need to clear all of that. It's not, it's literally more it's higher than they can actually enter. It's like enter your field, it's just like your twin. It's like together. And then, you know, with you lingering around your field like this, and then things will happen and along the way. So that was my experience. I couldn't bring into more writing, more vocabulary, because I was still in the already process done, but it's just in the way that I'm still doing something else. But I just want you to know that things can come into you even though you feel really good. In fact, you feel the best. And I was like, well, organic or inorganic, we always ask, right? Even though it's organic, they will still come to you. And you get, you know how I get excited very quickly too of the stuff, any of the things that I feel alignment. So that when you become really excited and when you wow, you have this, when you create business program or creativity, when you wow and you in awe and you have like blossoming, like all the well, like, and you literally already, that thing already enter you. That thing already enter you. And I also learned that how do I do this? Like at the end, the way that how we do this, harmonizing it is I thank you. I thank of that experience. Oh, yeah, I think of that experience and I did forgiveness to release that. To release that of like, you know, it's so funny feeling like I become a parasite myself, consequently, because I was writing it. Instead of that parasite writing you, but it's actually you are actually writing it because you are so joyful and so happy and accepted and you didn't even know. So that parasite bring you to your joy space and you become so happy. And then when it stopped, right? Stop means that, you know, facing Jen, stop, and this thing detach, disconnect. What happened to you? You're like, I can't see things, like nothing. I can't see nothing. It's literally nothing. I can't visualize anything. And you know what? The moment that I had that, I feel lonely. I feel a deep loneliness as real human, like a 3D human. Like as a higher consciousness of us, going back to that feeling this emptiness and loneliness is like it's literally like human body without soul. So I experienced that part of loneliness. It's just a moment of feeling into that. So yeah, so clearing and harmonizing with whatever that is bringing you that. That is a very deep experience that I had. That emptiness inside you is like disconnection. I come into a very emotion session. because feeling like, yes, I allow myself to do that. But it's not that I know, but it's sort of like experience, right? Experiment experience along the way, whether you can witness yourself after that. So I also thank GOTC as well, like, Jen, that she able to hold me down. Like I can see that she's like pressing my shoulder down, sit, do. I was like, what happened to you today? So strict. Is that you can't see, you can't feel, and you want to go, you go nowhere. So that building into like very like a lot of emotion stir up. Like when I said emotion is the emptiness and the loneliness. It's a huge one actually for humanity. Yeah. And it's not like a normal, it's not like a normal human, like, I'm not going to party. I feel like so empty. It's not like that. It's like a soul, so empty. SOUL, like SO as well, like so empty. So yeah, I feel quite scary. Yeah. And I was like, imagine of this recycling center, right? When you go, enter in and go again, I was like feeling very empty, very lonely of this journey. If you go enter again the same. So that's where we keep doing what we're doing, keep clearing what we're doing. So reset, renewing, rebirth. It's all we're fighting the way together at least. So yeah. So I think that from here, I just wanted to thank you for all of you as well that is attending here today. And Savannah share and thank you, Victoria. I know that you're moving, how you have moved. It's not gonna work, but you take your time at the back of listening. And Sarah, thank you so early for you. Also, it's your practices time, the routine. And thank you so much for coming and joining me for the chat. And thank you,
Thank you.
Paul. It's already like 1 o'clock nearly, so 1 a.m. So thank you. So now they're bringing all the harmonization through our body. And I think that the breath is enough for us to harmonize for now at the moment because we have shared our part of this imbalance of where we're coming from and bringing into our core, our now in GLTC and continue to serve as who we are, a true self, that we honor our own journey, self-experience, and through our body, from crown to feet, also our chakras, energy center. Now we all open up, and whether you wanted to talk, share your light language or just you can say it in your heart, bring into your own state of harmonization at this moment, connecting of all of chakras together. Even though that we talk about third eye, but it's actually connecting again and again and again. That's how we harmonize and reharmonize by reconnecting. That as easy as that, because it's awareness. So now drop it to our heart and deep breathing, inhale and exhale in your own way. And now bring into your voice of clearing, purifying, and restoring in a quantum light speed. Light speed. We align all of that in the heart space, release of these emotion that is in the heart, especially in the center, the right side of the heart. Bring it out to your throat. Tilt your neck or jaw a little bit upwards. And bring out your light or your voice From there, from heart, connect to your throat. Bring into your, going into this medulla oblongata there, clearing there, and then pineal gland, pituitary gland, amplify the light, the lightning bolt. So you want to come in. And then I feel like this energy wanted to stop here. I'm bringing me to this scalar wave through from home, coming down and go into your third eye. The luminescent, illuminate our third eye and allow this scalar wave infuse through the third eye down to all the endocrine system, all of it, down to your body. And then be feeling the frequencies of it. Now we thank our higher self that continues to bring us to this space to share and witness ourselves a human journey. And we bow to ourselves as devoted. Light being that you are. As you into the field, feel the very brain of healing to the planet and exiting through the sky. Thank you so much for receiving and joining me today. And I hope that you have a good night, good sleep, good dreams, good afternoon, and good morning. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.